Hello, everyone. I'm very happy and pleased to be here at Product League to talk about early stage product validations. Happy to meet you. I'm Guy Amrany. I'm a product lead mentor and a VP product at Our Cart, an Israeli retail tech startup. I spent most of my career in early stage startups or in enterprises. And what was common about them, relevant to this call, is dealing with early stage initiatives, whether it was a startup or whether it was a business unit in an enterprise. They both had these same experiences that I've gone through, and I would like to share some of my insights. Today's talk is going to be about product validation, those vague activities that all of us know that we are supposed to do before we launch a product, but we're not always sure what do they consist of and what is the right methodology to tackle them. We will understand why they're important, why they are overlooked, and what can we do in order to do them in a very practical and simple way as product managers. And you are here, to my understanding, because you are dealing with some product validations, whether it's a mature product or an early stage product, you're dealing with that, and you want to sharpen your ability to get this right. So let us start. We're going to talk about why startups fail. We're going to talk about the importance of understanding your right phase of your product. We're going to talk about problem solution fit, product market fit, business model fit, and what's the difference, and some tool that I will give you in order to improve your validations. Let's start. Startups fail. Does anybody have an idea what is the rate of startups that fail within 5, 10 years from their inception? I know there's a lot of numbers, there's a lot of researches, but let me share with you one of the researches that says that 92% of startups fail within their first 10 years of activity from inception. Let me tell you, when we talk about startup success, we need to understand a success is considered not failing, which means either getting to an IPO, to a successful merger, or to reach profitable growth as a company. If you've not reached one of these three situations, you have failed as a startup. When breaking down the reasons and checking for those startups that failed or enterprise initiatives, why market fit issues compose of 42% of the reasons, while the second or third reason, which is 29%, is lack of funding. And even when we break down lack of funding, we understand funding for what? Funding in order to have enough time to reach market fit, mostly. So overall, market fit issues are even bigger than it seems. So why do products fail? As product managers, we understand that finding the right product fit is the most important thing, maybe out of all of the other phases in the startup, in order to succeed of finding the right product to the right audience and to sell it in the right way in order to reach scale and then eventually reach profitability. But this is often overlooked. While many people are in charge of finding this product market fit, right? There is no product market fit manager in a startup. Many stakeholders share these responsibilities, but as product managers, we have a top priority to be the ones who will make sure that we're not spending any wasteful resources on development and on processes when we have not found the right fit yet. Now, why is that a problem? Because we know that if we will invest too much time in development before we have the right what and who, we'll be wasting our funding, we'll be wasting our time, and we will not reach our targets. So that is why, first of all, we need to understand what is our phase. Let's think of it in a different way. If you're navigating a ship in the waters, but you're not aware of your exact location, and you're trying to get to your destination, if you're not aware of your right location, you will probably reach a different point than the point you were aiming for because your whole navigation is wrong. That is exactly the same for startups when selling in the undefinite water of the business. And why that does it matter? So this is the general startup phases that we all know. Now, mostly, most of the people look on the entire early stages as one match of a phase, which is the validation phase. Whether it's problem solution fit, product market fit, business model fit, they do not distinguish, although there's a lot of materials out there. But these are different phases, and it's critical to understand and to differentiate and to explain within our company where are we now? Are we dealing with the problem and understanding the market? Are we dealing with adapting our experiments in order to make our product fit for this target audience? Or are we already trying to see how will we scale and how will we sell it? Those are totally different questions. And it is very important to know when you reach that phase and not just bypass it as it is or mix it together with a different phase. It helps you focus, and all of the people in the organization can focus their efforts on accomplishing the milestones needed for that phase. Now, let's zoom into these questions and understand specifically for problem solution fit and for product market fit, what do we need to ask? How do we ask? And what do we do with these answers? So, problem solution fit and product market fit validations. These are two different issues. At the beginning, after these two founders or three founders went to a bar, talked about the great idea they have to change the world and have an intent and a mean to do that, inception phase is over. Now we are on problem solution fit, whether we know it or whether we don't. Our goal is to understand who is our target audience, what is their problem that we want to solve, which solutions solve their problem today because they may be doing it somehow in a different way, and why do we need another solution in the market to solve that? Or if it's a blue ocean market, do we need a solution? That is the focus. We're not supposed to deal with solutions. We're not supposed to deal with UX, ideas, features, development, infrastructure, nothing. Most of the problem solution fit is done by interviews, domain experts, prospects and leads, investors. This is a collection of information from open sources in different ways. Product market fit is different phase. After we've lived the world of the problem, after we know in our hearts the minds and knowing of what our customers feel and need, when we're fully certainly sure of that, we can move on and say, by basing ourselves on all this knowledge we accumulated about the problem, we can now move and think about the solution. Then we can do different validations. We have dozens of them, and I will not specify smoke tests and demos or interviews or campaigns or empty banners. There's so many ways to do experiments that will eventually give us the information and data, how many people actually got involved in our product or in our initiative, and it was interesting for them. And the product market fit eventually needs to answer these questions. What is our solution expected to be? What is it supposed to be? Which value is it supposed to give to those target audiences and problem and solutions that they have? And which market segment within this major market that we've researched do we need to serve first out of all the different market segments? We need to test it on different populations. And where should our product be consumed? Is it a white label? Is it a SaaS on-prem? Is it by distribution? There's so many questions to answer. Now, let me tell you a story before I give you the actual tool that you should use. When I was in one of the startups before, we started a new solution for e-commerce sellers. Now, we were sure that we understand deeply because we came with prior knowledge with the problems and issues that these sellers, Shopify, e-commerce sellers had. And we started development. We did not take the time to do the interviews and to ask the questions and to document anything. We just started developing. And we had a version 1, but it did not work because nobody wanted to use it. And then we created the version 2, hoping that that would be the solution for all our problems and that would make the breakout. And it did not work. And eventually we understood that that was not the right direction. So as we pivoted to a different direction, we said, okay, this time we'll do it right. So from the first phase, we started to ask the questions. And I was, as a product manager, had the strongest hand, and I was standing on my back legs and say, guys, we are now in problem solution fit. We're not yet talking with these people about the solutions or distribution or marketing or where do we sell it. No, let's first deep down and understand what is exactly the problem and how did I do it. I created a major table with a lot of questions. Some of these questions are very generic. Who is your customer? What is their vertical? Who is the user? Who is the stakeholder? When will we use it? What triggers them to seek for a solution? And you can use these kind of generic questions to answer the problem that you're trying to investigate. On top of that, I recommend to add additional questions which are specific to the domain that you're investigating. So if you're investigating, for example, call centers, go deeper and ask the questions about, so how does the call representative feels when the call is over and he did not get some solution? What does the customer on the other side feels? What kind of data is collected in this process? Go as deeper as possible. Document the answers to these questions from every interview, from every open source that you're using, document them and take them with you. So I've done this for problem solution fit questions, and I've filled hundreds of pages filled with answers. And then I did it for the product market fit phase. And I was asking questions about the product and about the value and about the user experience and where should it be for the users to find it in the App Store or through integration or through aggregators. And I took all of these answers that we validated in various ways, and I had created one major database of information. Now, why is that database so important? Why is it so critical for us? Because you, as product managers, want to be the person, that go to person that creates this knowledge for the organization that will help the founders, the investors, clients, and many other stakeholders in the company to know where the direction is, what is the right thing to do based on the information that we researched. So eventually, what you can do and should do with this data, you need to plan which questions you want to ask out of these massive amount of questions that you research. And every time you will understand more and more questions that you have. Secondly, document the answers. Tell yourself who said it to me. Where did I find this information? It could be very useful for you in the future in your next calls. Process that information. You will see the same question being answered in the same way. You will understand that validation is right for that question. And eventually you'll be able to share that knowledge with others. So let me do the key takeaways for this. One, startups fail because they do not invest enough in problem solution fit and product market fit, and they do not differentiate between the different phases that their product is actually at. Secondly, it is very important to differentiate because we know that if we do not accumulate enough knowledge and enough validation, we cannot move forward to the next phase. If we move forward too fast, this is wasteful. Third, prepare all the questions that you have, document them, process them, and share with them. And eventually, validation comes from having answers to your questions and giving actual results and numbers that pose the answer to your questions for the product. I hope you had a great time with me, and I invite you to continue asking any questions that you have or to contact me. And it was a pleasure for me to be hosted here. Thank you.